Good morning, or again, whatever time of day you may be tuning in. I am Tiffany and I am here for your first Wake and Flow. I'm so excited to possibly start your day with you in some very gentle movement and breathing to help wake up the body and get it moving properly before you start your day. Especially if you're in any type of area of the world where you are heading into colder temperatures, this is something that can really be beneficial to your joints and just to get your mind going for the day. Now, whether you want to roll right out of bed onto your floor and do this, maybe grab your cup of coffee first, or as I have my tea with coconut oil and raw honey, yum yum. Or even maybe you take your warm or hot shower and then crawl onto your mat or blanket. Any of that is wonderful, whatever gets you going and moving first thing in the morning. This is going to be about 10 minutes, so don't feel like you have to set your alarm an hour earlier. I would set it maybe for 15 minutes earlier so you can wake up, scoot your blanket or mat over, and just get onto that mat and get breathing. We are going to start with Durga Go. It actually is a breathing exercise to warm up the spine, get the breath moving through the body, and then we will move on from there. You don't have to have a fancy mat to get started. I actually took my first certification on an $8 mat. There were pieces everywhere afterwards, but that's besides the point. It got me through. So whether you already have a mat or just a nice kind of rugged blanket so there's not a lot of slipping and sliding going around, that's awesome. If you have problems with joints, maybe grab both. Grab a blanket off your bed or your pillow as you roll down onto your mat and place it under knees or even under wrists at time. But we will be learning how to take proper hand placement so as not to have all of that pressure in your wrists and your neck. So here we go. I'm going to gently and easily come to all fours. Don't mind my little assistant, he's just hogging all of the warmth right now. Taking knees directly underneath hips, not the outside of the hip, kind of straight down from the hip flexor. Wrists are directly underneath shoulders, spreading your fingertips wide and kind of pressing them into the mat and already slightly lifting up through the core. That way there's none of this going on, just, hanging into the shoulders and the wrists. Even though this is a gentle movement, it's still intentional. Fingertips are wide and grippy. Core is gently engaged, keeping the spine neutral. Going to inhale, drop that belly, let the back arch, lift the heart. All the way until that belly is tight and full with air, and then begin to round through the spine, tucking the pelvis, squeezing all the air out. Dropping that chin to the chest. Let's do that again. Inhale. Exhale. I like to exhale through a wide open mouth in my Durga Go. 2 more. Beautiful. Now that we have some intentional breath moving through the body, let's walk the knees just slightly wider than the hips and begin to walk the hips back to the heels, even wiggling as you go, letting that body wake up and move. And as you get them back there, if not, it's okay. You can even place the blanket here to have some support if you can't drop down to your heels. And then begin to lay that body across the thighs, arms reaching out in line with the shoulders, dropping the forehead to the mat, and then releasing the forearms. Taking 4 intentional breaths here, letting that belly expand against the thighs. Exhaling. Beautiful. 2 more. Begin to wiggle through those hips a little bit. Start to lift the head. Shift that gaze forward and then slide it, roll it back up onto all fours. Readjust, knees under hips. Maybe take those hands out further from you just a little bit, still in line with the shoulders, fingertips gripping. Begin to tuck just the big toe and lifting that tailbone, begin to ease your way into a slightly bent knee down dog. Especially if it is first thing in the morning, you don't have to wrench those hamstrings open. But we do want to lift that tailbone high, draw the shoulders down the back, gazes towards the belly button / between the thighs, and heels can draw down towards the mat, but let that body wake up. You need to walk it side to side. That's fine. Feet are hip width apart, not too wide here. You don't have to have those heels all the way down. Beautiful. We're going to take one intentional breath here. Inhaling. Exhaling through a wide open mouth. Beautiful. Coming in for some spinal rolls to lubricate that spine. Lifting high on the toes. Rounding through the back. Lifting just as you start to hit that plank. Lift that tailbone high and roll that chest back to the thighs. Keeping the arms straight. Still breathing, no holding the breath. You can still keep that slight bend in the knee. Roll it through. One more time. Beautiful. Hold it into your down dog. You may already find a little more space in those hamstrings and hips just from rolling and breathing. Beautiful. Begin to lift through the toes. Shift that gaze slightly forward. Lift the core. Begin to walk the feet up towards the hands and slowly roll up. As you came all the way to standing, let's readjust, ground down through those feet. Inner thighs are drawing together. Blood is starting to move through the body. Roll the shoulders down and back. Arms are hanging by the sides. And just gently rotate through the wrists, palms facing forward for your Tadasana or mountain pose. We've got the breath moving. We've got the blood starting to flow. And now we want to start our day grounded. Maybe you have something stressful today that you're having to do, whether it's a conversation or a meeting or a presentation or a sick child at home, and you're already kind of dreading or feeling apprehensive. We don't have to go into our day feeling that way. We can go in mentally prepared and grounded and ready to take on whatever we need to handle. Beautiful. Inhale, rise those arms above, reaching. Exhale, let the arms come back down to the sides. Beautiful. One more. This time, exhale, press those palms to heart center. Take a slight bend in the knee and then hinge at the hips to a gentle forward fold, releasing the fingertips, letting the head drop forward. Inhaling, try to lengthen through the legs a little bit, lengthen through the spine. Fingertips can come to the floor, palms to thighs, pressing the heart forward, and then release on the exhale, taking a slight bend in the knee, stepping it back to your first plank. Again, taking those wrists underneath the shoulders, fingertips are wide and grippy. Making sure that the heels are energetic and lifted. 2 breaths here, lifting through that core, tucking through the pelvis, not letting the hips drop. We're protecting that low back, creating just a little bit of heat. And now for our chaturanga. Here, if you need to drop a knee, I will do it with one knee dropped. Actually, I will take other knee. That one has a slight injury. Rotate my elbows in and begin to lower my body in one plane. You can take both knees down if needed as well. Sliding that leg back, we're going to take a very gentle cobra. Take it down to baby cobra. Core is engaged, heart is pressing forward, fingertips are pressing into the mat. Inhale, exhale, press up to full cobra. One more time, lower down to baby on the inhale. Exhale, press the heart out and forward, shoulders rolling down the back. Begin to widen those knees and work those hips back to heels for your balasana or your child's pose. One more breath. We're going to flow through that one more time and then take one more breathing exercise. Lengthen and strengthen the arms. Fingertips are pressing into the mat, tucking just the big toes. Ease your way up into that Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward facing dog. Tailbone is lifting high, shoulders are drawing down the back. Gaze is towards the belly button. Fingertips pressing into the mat or the blanket. Lifting up high onto the toes, lifting through the core. Walk those legs forward. Slowly roll up. Beautiful. Open that heart forward. Shoulders roll away. All four corners of the feet grounding down. Grounding, grounding. Beautiful. Gently roll the wrists open, palms open and forward. Taking right hand over heart center, left hand over heart center. Go ahead and set your intention for the day. This could be one word. It could be peace or healing or love. Or you could be asking for assistance or grace. Whatever that is, take a moment to close your eyes. And you'll have to really ground down because as soon as you close your eyes, your body will want to sway. Root down like a strong tree here. Inhaling and exhaling, pressing and setting that intention into the heart center. Begin to blink the eyes open, release the palms down, still facing forward, receiving whatever you asked for. Inhaling, rise. Exhaling, pressing palms to heart center, taking a slight bend of the knee if needed, but hinging at the hips, taking it forward to a forward fold. Releasing the hands, inhaling for length. Hands to thighs or fingertips to mat, heart forward. Exhaling, placing the palms down, strong and steady, stepping it back to your plank. Taking one or both knees if needed, elbows rotating in, body in one plane lowers for Chaturanga. Dropping the hips and legs, open that heart forward, Bhujangasana for your cobra. Rolling a little bit through the shoulders, keeping a slight bend in the elbow. Beautiful, two more. Taking those knees wide, walk it back to your child's pose, hips to heels. Give them a little wiggle. Begin to walk the fingertips up towards the knees. Dropping to one side or the other once you get there. Swing the legs around front. Moving that flesh out of the way if needed, grounding down through the sits bones, Dandasana, staff pose, feet are flexed, quads are active, rolling the shoulders down and back. Beautiful, bringing a slight bend to the knee, staying grounded through the sits bones. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hinge at the hips. This is not about hunching and reaching your face to your legs. It's about lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the crown, reaching down, lowering the chin. Inhale, clasp the toes or the shins, flat back, heart forward. And exhale, fold one more time. Slowly roll it up. Hands under the knees. They come to easy seated. I'm going to face you. You can face me if you aren't already. Not crossing at the ankles, so we're grinding the bones, but stacking the feet one in front of the other. Opening through the hips gently. Going to learn one more breathing exercise, and this you can do anywhere, anytime. It is great for bringing the mind to focus, feeling connected, left brain, right brain, calming some anxiety. It's Nadi Shodhana. Going to take left or right hand, whichever one you work with. Drop down your index and middle finger. That way your thumb and your index slash pinky over here are still wiggleable. You're gonna just gently bring that hand in front of your face. I like to start completely exhaled. So I'm gonna take a big inhale. Exhale through both nostrils, mouth closed. And place my thumb on my right nostril, closing it off. Inhaling and exhaling through the left. Once all the air is out on that side, use that gentle finger over there to close that off. And inhale, exhale through the right. You may hear some funny things going on, especially first thing in the morning. It's all good, we all got boogers. It's no big deal. Close that off, inhale. Beautiful. I'll let you cycle through a couple more times, maybe one or two more times each side. And while it can be a struggle the first time, you will find probably a few minutes after that, ooh, those sinuses are clearing up. So it's also good for this time of year when everybody's starting to get a little stuffy with the change of weather. I really, really hope that you feel well after that practice, that your body feels a little more awake, your mind a little more awake, feeling a little more settled into taking on the day. I greatly appreciate you joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Be blessed.